So guys, the basic concept of entity framework core we have completed in our last session. So today onwards, right, next few sessions, whatever we are going to be discussed, right? So these are advanced concept you can consider. So let us discuss today, right? Today, basically, we are going to discuss, right, how we can perform bulk operations, right? So bulk operations means we'll discuss how we can implement, right, bulk insert, update, delete a functionality. So when we are performing the bulk operation, what entity framework core internally does, right? To handle the bulk operations, that is what we are going to discuss. Then we'll show you, right? Then we'll discuss why the entity framework core bulk operations are not performance optimized, and then we are going to discuss, right, how we can right, how we can use third-party extension libraries for performing bulk operations with entity framework core. And then finally we will discuss, right, or we'll conclude with the performance benchmark, right? So I'm going to show you how you can implement performance testing, right? So performance testing is different than what you can consider as a unit testing. So performance testing, in this case, what I'm going to discuss the same application with the three different packages, right? And then I'll show you which package or which method is going to take how much time. And accordingly, you can decide, right, which approach is best suited for your application, right? So, guys,
It will
uh,
sound like some low and
sorry,
low and down, up and down. It would sound like this for everyone like this only.
guys, my voice is up and down.
Yeah, yeah, I am
Yes, sir.
also.
Yes, sir.
Guys, am I audible now? Fine.
Yes, sir. I can hear you perfectly.
Guys, my voice is clearly audible now.
Yes, yes. Now it's fine, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let's start discussing this bulk insert and update delete functionality, everything right in detailed manner, right? So bulk operation means what? Handling large amount of data. So in situations, right, whenever you are going to work with real-time application, you will find some scenario or situations, right, where you will provide one Excel sheet to be uploaded by the user, and that Excel sheet going to contain some 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, right, some kind of a data. And this data you want to update into the database, you can insert into the database. You can also perform the delete operation on the database. So how effectively you are going to right perform these operations, right? So because right at the end, what is important to us? What is important to us means the performance. If the application doesn't perform right well, then nobody is going to use my software. So if I'm developing the software, right, that software should be performed well, right? Without performance, without security, nobody is going to use your software, right? So now let us try to understand how exactly entity framework core bulk operations are performed, right? Guys, remember. So entity framework core, right? Right. If I'm comparing with right previous version, right? So what I can say, entity framework core, and another one is entity framework. So there are two versions. Previously it was right. Previously it was entity framework, and now entity framework. So how exactly the bulk insert update statements are performed? Let us try to observe. So insert, update, and delete. So in previous versions of right entity framework, right, not in entity framework core, in entity framework, how it is performing the update, insert, and delete operation. So in this case, right, what exactly entity framework does? Now for each statement, statement, one for each entity, for each entity, one insert statement. For each entity, one insert statement. Right? Similarly, for update, what exactly it is going to do for each entity, one update statement, and in the case of a delete, for each entity, one delete statement. That means if I'm going to insert 1,000 records, then how many insert statements are going to be generated?
1,000.
That means 1,000 insert statements. Clear? Clear or not? Similarly, in this case, how many update statement, how many delete statement? So in this case, the number of insert, update, delete statement are going to be the thousands. Is that clear? That means thousand statement means how many database round trip from our application to database?
1000.
1000 times.
Thousand drive, right? Thousand round trips from our application to database. So you just imagine if I'm performing 1000 instead of 1000, if I'm going to insert 10,000 records, then 10,000 times, right? The entity framework going to generate one SQL statement sent to the database, one SQL statement sent to the database. Is not it going to degrade my application performance?
Definitely, sir.
Definitely it is going to degrade. Degrade means not only it is going to degrade the application performance because of the database round trip, but also it is going to impact a heavy load on the database server as well, right? Because every time right SQL statement is going to, so definitely it is going to be very bad from the performance point of view. Yeah, that is what we can consider now using entity framework code. Sorry, not entity framework code. This is what happening in entity framework code. Now coming to entity framework code. So this is what happening with our old entity framework. So in entity framework code, they have improved little bit. They have improved, right? They are improved. So what improve means now they have introduced something called batching. Batching. Batching means what? 42 statements will be sent at a time. At a time. Now for each entity, one insert statement will not be sent. Now, what will happen for 42 insert statement for 42 entity, right? 42 entity, 42 insert statement, what will send as a batch. So in this case, 42 insert, right? 42 entities, what will send as a batch. Clear? So then if 1000 records are there, then how many batch will be there? Guys, tell me.
1000 divided by 42.
1000 divided by 42. So how many batches? So something around 24 batches, right?
24.
In this case, it is going to be 24 round trips between our application and the database. So in this case, these 42 statements means there will not be 42 insert statement. So 42 entity, right? In this case, one SQL merge will be
One
created.
SQL.
SQL merge statement will be there, right? So what exactly it is going to do? So it will take 42 entity, put this 42 entity within one SQL merge statement, and this SQL merge statement will send to the database, right? Uh, so in this case, if I'm going to insert 1000 entities, then it will create 42 round trips, right? So means what 42 times, sorry, 22, 24 round trips. In each round, it is going to send 42 entity, and using SQL merge statement, it is going to execute. Now, coming to this part, the same concept is also available here, right? The same concept is also available in the case of, right, what I can say, update and delete. So for 42 entity, right, it will generate 42 update statement. For 42 entity, it will generate 42 update statement, but will send them as a batch. Clear? So here it is using SQL merge, but here there is no merge statement. So here it is going to use individual 42 statements, but this 42 statement it will send as a batch. So what do you mean by batch? How it is sending the data as a batch? I will show you practical. But batch means what? You can say grouping multiple statement together and sending them as a batch, right? So if I'm having 100 statement, then 42 round trip. Similarly, in the case of a delete, again, what exactly it is going to do? For 42 entity, right? So what exactly it is going to do? It is going to generate 42 right delete statements, but it will send them as a batch. If I'm having 40, 1000 deletes to be right 1000 records to be deleted, then again in that case also it is going to take 42 or 24 round trips. Clear?
Suppose we have it more than 1,000 records inside statements.
Maximum.
Then that time also the batching is 42 statements only.
Yes, yes. This is the default size, what I'm saying. 42 is the default size. You can increase and decrease the size, right? And customization is also possible. Everything. I'm going to show you. This is the default size, how you can customize, right? And I'm also going to prove this that 42 statements are going to be sent at a time, not than 42. But if you want, you can increase the size. Clear?
Fine. Fine.
Right. Now, what is there? Now, this is also not performance optimized. For example, if I want to update by using some SQL statement, right? So update the set equals to this where clause equal to some conditional. So if I want to perform the update operation based on the condition, right? So that is not possible using update and delete. For example, I want to delete all the students where branch equals to this. One SQL statement, I want to delete 1,000 records. That is not possible using identity framework, right? This approach. So basically, updating and deleting records based on the condition, right? That means I want to send a single statement, and that single statement should perform the update and delete operation on more than multiple entities or multiple records. That is not possible, right? And again, if I'm going to send 1,000 records, so why I'm going to send them as a batch, right? 42 records one time, 42 records another time. Is not it possible to send everything at a single request? Yes, that is also possible, right? How? So for that purpose, right, we need to use entity framework core extension. So that is what we are also going to discuss. So there are two extensions I'm going to discuss, and I'm also going to discuss, right, how these extensions, right, can improve your right, overall application performance and all these things, right? So let us try. So is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone having any question? Okay. So once I give some example, then you will get the clarity, right? So let us try to understand this with one example. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the student entity. Let me go ahead and create the student entity. So there is no entity called students available. Let me create a class called student. So using this student entity, I'm going to perform the operation. So you can see student ID, first name, last name, and the branch. These are the few properties, and these are initialized with empty, means this is an optional property. Okay, fine. So this is my student entity. Next, what I need to do, I need to add the student into the DB set class as a property in the DB sets. So here the database I want to create as students DB, right? So with these changes, next what I need to do, I need to generate the migration file and update the database. Fine. Let me go ahead. Okay. So this is fine. Now what I'm going to do is, guys, remember to perform the bulk operation, we are provided with, right, add range, right? Instead of showing this thing individually, right, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you practically. Okay, let us go with one by one, right? You will get more clarity. So to perform the bulk insert operation, right, what I can do is I can make use of the add range method of the DB set or DB context class. Similar to the add method, we are provided with the add range method, which is going to take a collection of elements, and these collections are going to be added into, right, inserted into the context object with the added state. And whenever we call the set changes method, SQL Server is going to generate, right, SQL mod statement, right? So what I want to do is, guys, right, I want to show you the what SQL statement is being generated, and that what if you want to see it, then how to enable logging, guys, you have to use the option builder dot log to method, right? So this is what you need to do, and here we need to import the namespace. So I want to show the generated log file. So that is the reason why I have enabled these things, right? So next what I need to do, I need to perform the bulk insert operation. So let us proceed and see, right, how it is going to perform the bulk insert operations. So this is my program class. So what I'm doing here, you can see I'm creating few students, right? I'm creating few students. You can say students here. I'm calling, right, creating 4 students. I'm calling to this bulk insert method, and I'm going to display the students whose branch is CSE, right? This is my bulk insert method, which is taking the list of students to be added. And to add the student,
Your
I'm
voice is
using the
breaking, sir.
Still my voice is
Pranay,
breaking.
your voice is breaking.
No, sir, it's fine for me.
It's fine for me.
It's
Yeah,
fine
it's
for me
It's
too.
fine
fine.
for
Yeah,
me.
fine.
Okay, issue with me. Sorry.
Then see, please restart, right? So if many people are facing the problem, then I can think about it. If you individual means might be problem from your machine, right? Might be in the sense internet issue might be there. Okay, just restart.
Yeah, now stable.
And if
Thank
it
you.
will persist,
Thank
right,
you.
then let me things. In this case, you can see I'm using the add range method. And this add range method I'm here using from the DB context class. Sorry, DB set class. So even I can directly use the DB context class. That is also possible, right? Both options are there. Any method you can use, right? But what important thing is that add range method, which is taking a list of students, right? Here you can pass I list, I enumerable of student, right? Anything that must be a collection. That collection you need to pass into this add range method. And when I call the set changes method, it is going to add this list of students into the database. And here, right, so new students dot count, so how many students have inserted, that right, input I'm storing here, right? So in this case also I can right, give you something count, right? So basically how many records are inserted, right? That count also I can also print something like this. Right, so here also the step changes method is going to return how many records are inserted, right? But what you can also so by storing that return type into this count variable. So with these changes, let me run the application and show what SQL statement is being generated by Entity Framework Core when we are performing the bulk operation. And for this purpose, we are enabling the Entity Framework Core login. So let me run the application. Now you can see. So it is using SQL merge statement or not? It is using SQL merge statement, right? And here you can see the values, right? Here you need to observe 2 things. So what do you mean by P01, P1, P2, and the 0? So P0 means parameter 0, parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So in this case, right, so this P0 is referred to your branch, P1 is referred to your first name, P2 is referred to your last name. So P0 means branch, P1 means first name, P2 is last name. Similarly, P3 refers to your branch, and this is your first name, and this is your last name. So these are the values you write what if we are using. Now, in this case, you are understanding, sir, this is P0, P1, P2. That is absolutely fine. We understood. But what about the last parameter 0, 1, 2, and 3?
Identity,
Right?
sir. Primary
Not
key.
identity. This is the sequence, the index position of the element. So this is the first element, this is the second element, this is the third element, this is the fourth element. So based on this position, what exactly it is going to do is, now whenever the data is inserted into the database, whenever the data is inserted into the database, then what exactly it is going to do? That identity column is going to be generated, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Right? So that identity is going to be inserted based on this index position. If the first element is inserted, so based on this index position 0, that identity is going to be inserted into the first element which is there in the collection. So this entity you can see after inserting, you can access the identity value from this student. You can access from the student. The identity value you can access. Why? Because of this index position, which is taking as a parameter. And based on this index position, right, it is going to fetch the data from the database and store into here. Clear? And this is right. Actually, for our example, this is not required because we are not interested for that output parameter and all this thing. But yes, that is going to be generated by framework. So here, what important thing that what you need to understand is it is using SQL merge statement. Clear? Yes or no?
Okay.
Yes.
Right? Later I will show you, right? I will show you exactly how, right, that 42 statements are going to be inserted at a time. That's what I'm going to also show you. Next, what I'm going to discuss is bulk update operation. Let us try to observe, right, this bulk operation. This is also very simple, right, and easy. So let me go ahead. So here what I want to do is currently, if you look at the database, right, so we are having few entities. So in the students entity, right? So let me give one identical hypothetical scenario that all the students whose department is CSE, those information I'm going to update. Right? If that is your requirement, then what I'm doing, I'm calling this a bulk update method by passing the branch. Then based on the branch, I'm fetching the data from the database. So in this case, do I need to use, right? In this case, do I need to use as no tracking?
No,
No,
Why? Because we are going to update the data.
they are
because we are
updating.
going to perform the update operation.
Exactly. So in this case, right, see, in this case, I'm using student.list.ny because, right, here we are already fetching the data from the database. Then from this list of data, I'm checking if at least one record is available inside this list. This is for the paper side because if no record are there, then doesn't mean to proceed for update operation, right? So if at least one record is there with the provided branch, then I'm going to perform the bulk operation. So whatever the list of students I retrieve from the database, I'm just changing their first name and last name. So once I change all the students, right, which branch is the CAC, because here I'm passing the input parameter as CAC, then right, I'm going to call this step changes method. So here I'm calling the step changes method. Then you will see, right, then in this case, you will see, right, independent SQL update statement is going to be generated and they are going to be sent to the database as a batch. So that batch functionality I cannot show you at this point of time. Why? Because to understand that, what we need to do, at least 30, more than 42 records I need to show. That's what I'm also going to show you. But for now, just remember whether it is generating an independent update statement or not. And then, right, what I'm doing here, and then what I'm doing here means I'm displaying the data. So in this case, do I need to use as no tracking?
Yes.
Guys, tell me. As no tracking is required here? Yes. Why? Because at this point of time, we don't want, right? We are fetching this data only for a display purpose, right? We are displaying this data only for display purpose. So here I'm checking if at least one student is there, then only I'm right displaying the details. Otherwise, I'm displaying no students found in this branch, right? So with this changes, let me run the application and see whether it is generating independent update SQL statement or not. How many update statements are there?
3.
Right. That means how many students are there in with the branch CAC?
Three students.
That means for each update, it is generating an independent SQL statement or not?
Yes.
Right. So that is what it is doing internally. Right. So if someone asks you, then you have to tell this thing. Right. Now next, what we need to understand? We need to understand the bulk delete operation. Similar to this bulk insert, right? And what we are going to do is a bulk delete, right? So in this case, right? So guys, remember to remove one entity, what method we use? Remove method. To remove a range of entities, what I need to do? Right? That's what you need to use, right? So let us proceed and understand. Remove range method you need to use. Clear? Add method is for adding a single entity. Add range is for multiple entities. Remove method is means to remove a single entity. Remove range means it is going to mark multiple entity state as deleted, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete all the CSE branch students. So currently you can see three CSE branch students is there. Their first name and last name has been changed. And these three students I want to delete from my database. So for that purpose, what I need to do, first of all, I need to check, right? I need to fetch all the students whose branch is CSC. And here I need to check if at least one student is there, then please go ahead and remove them. So, right, and for removing the data, what I'm doing here, I'm using the remove range method, and then I'm calling the step changes method. That's it. So once I call the step changes method, it should delete all the data. So guys, tell me, what is the difference between this statement? If I'm calling the remove range method, what is happening? And when I'm calling this method, what is happening?
Once I call the remove range method, then
Range
it will remove,
In memory
but
only.
in memory
context or
entity
In
shape
memory
change.
only. And save
So
changes
remove
still
in
there.
memory means what? It is not going to remove anything from memory. In this case, it will mark the entity state as.
Yeah, right.
So don't say that you remove from in memory. Mark the
Delete
entity state as,
and
Deleted.
right,
deleted.
practical. Right? It will mark the entity state as deleted. Clear?
Deleted. Yes.
And when I call this changes method, whatever entities are marked with the deleted state, those are
Delete.
going to be deleted
That
from
will
the.
update in database.
Right? And in this case, for each independent entity, it is going to generate unique delete statement. If I'm removing three entity means three delete statement is going to be deleted, right? And then what I'm doing here, I'm displaying the branch, and at this time, right, it should display no students found inside the CSC branch. Let me run the application and show you this thing. So you can see this is my delete statement 1, this is my delete statement 2, and this is my delete statement 3. And after the operation, it is saying no students found in CSC branch. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
So
After
for import statement, it is using SQL mod. And for update and delete statement, it is generating independent update and delete statement. Clear?
sir, after save changes, that entity state will be, in case of removal, entity state will change to detach, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
And sir, one more thing, merge statement when we are using, so we want certain entities only to be checked. On the basis of that only, we want either update or insert. So those kind of things can we do? Because in the same class, there can be
Okay,
another
you just tell
student with
me,
the
you
same
just
name,
tell me.
same branch.
You just tell me what is the use of a more statement? More statement means one, it can right perform insert as well as the update operation.
Right.
So that's what you should know.
On
So both,
condition, yeah. On condition, I wanted to know
yeah.
because
So it is
same class, student can have the same first name, last name, and same branch.
in this case, what will happen? First name, last name is not important. If the primary key property is available, it is going to update the data. If that
Mm-hmm.
primary
Right.
key exists in the database, otherwise it is going to insert the data,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that is the benefit of using SQL merge statement. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can perform the right bulk operation in a asynchronous manner. Right? So whatever method we have discussed so far, these methods are also having right what I can say the asynchronous version. So for example, so asynchronous version means for the add range method, what should be the asynchronous method? Whatever the add range async. Similarly, remove range async.
Async.
Right? Similarly, save changes.
Async.
So these are the right asynchronous version that what you need to use, right? So let us try to understand this thing, right? So the same example, what I'm doing here, you can see this is my bulk insert. I'm going to insert a few students. Okay, so before inserting the data, let me do one more thing. Right? Let me truncate the table. Okay, so why I'm going to truncate the table? Let me do one more thing, right? Okay, okay. So any better approach without truncating the table? Is there any better approach where I'm going to insert and perform the operation? Yes. What is that approach? Delete the database and create the database again. So what is the syntax to delete the database
Ensure
programmatically?
deleted.
Context dot database dot ensure deleted, right? So that method you need to call. Similarly, to create the database again, context dot database dot ensure created. So this will delete the database if it exists, and this will create the database if it is not exist, right? So clear guys. So if the database is exist, it is going to delete it. If not exist, then it is going to do nothing. In this case, it is going to check whether the database is exist. If it exist, it will not do anything. If not exist, it is going to create the database, right? So with these changes, let me run the application and see this time how it is going to perform the operation. So here you can see, first of all, as I'm going to perform the asynchronous operation, right, the naming is very, very important. See, whatever method I have created, I'm providing async. So this async will explicitly tell that this is going to be asynchronous method. And the asynchronous method means the return type is going to be task or task of T, and the method must be created using the async modifier, right? Similarly, the static modifier means it will make the method as static. Async modifier will mark this method as asynchronous. Asynchronous means the return type is going to be task of a or task of a T, right? And in this case, these are the list of student what I want to insert. And here you can see I'm using the add range async method, and this list of student I'm passing. And if I want to ensure that once these statements or once this operation completed, right, then proceed further, I have to use the await keyword. Similarly, in this case, right, I'm calling this changes method with the await keyword. That means once this operation completed, then it will proceed to the next statement. So in this case, you can see I'm inserting for student with the branch CAC, and another student with the IT branch. So this is my bulk update operation. The functionality is the same, right? The way we are working, first you need to fetch the data, then you need to update the data if it exists, and then you need to call the save changes async method. So this will mark the entity. So in this case, whenever there is some update operation happening, that entity state is going to be modified, and for the modified entities, it is going to generate the update SQL statement into the database. Similarly, this is my bulk delete function, right? Here you can see, and one more thing you need to remember. So while I'm using here, I'm also using a toolist async method. So asynchronously, it is going to fetch the data from the database. So and here I'm using
Is
await
it
keyword.
mandatory, sir? Like that? To list async.
Not mandatory. So in this case, you can also use async, and in that case, you can remove this. That is also fine. But the thing is that so whenever I'm fetching the data from the database, is it a IO operation or not?
Yes, sir.
So IO operation means what is the fundamental rule? Fundamental rule means you should write apart from them using asynchronous operation. Right? So that is async you have to use. Clear? So this asynchronous version is also provided for the tool list, right? Tool list, to array, faster default, every method, right? Their asynchronous version is available. So that is fine. And here, right, what I'm doing, right? This step changes is done. This is bulk deletes. Here also you can see I'm using toolist async method. I'm removing this list of student from the database, right? So that is what I'm doing here. So removing this list of students from the database, not remove database. In this case, it will mark the entities for deletion, and this statement is going to delete those entities which are marked with for deletion from the database, right? So that is what I have done. Let me run the application and show you this functionality. And in this case, it is going to perform the operation in a asynchronous manner. And guys, remember, asynchronous programming is very, very important, right? From your performance improvement, right? There will be right. You can see uh, that create stable statement is there, right? So basically, what exactly it is going to do, right? It is deleting the database, it is creating the table, and after creating the table, it is you can see this is the SQL merge statement. Here, SQL update statement. See, the statement is not going to be changed, right? So whatever statement is generated by the non-asynchronous version, the same statement is going to be generated by synchronous version. What is the difference? Difference is that the thread will not blocked in the case of asynchronous. Otherwise, the way SQL server, the way SQL statements are generated, the way SQL server executing those statements, right? There is no differences. So only difference in the case of asynchronous methods, the thread is going to be released. Clear?
So
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. So remove range, you didn't use await. Remove range.
Correct.
Somewhere you have written remove part, deletion part. Here
Yes.
before remove range, we can use remove range async and then await.
Does it make sense? There is no remove range async method is there. Why? Because right in this case I have provided this mistakenly. So there is no remove range async. So in fact, right? In fact, whenever I'm using add range async, right? So we should go with the synchronous version. Why I'm saying? So in this case, right, we are not dealing with the database. We are adding this entity to the context object. So we should use add range method or add range async, right? and there is no remove range async method. And here, what is important? Important is whatever SQL statement we want to execute them in a asynchronous manner,
Okay.
right? So for that purpose, we are using asynchronous. But when you are adding the method, right, removing the method, asynchronous doesn't make any sense, right? And there is no remove range async method is there. My mistake. I have provided that one here, but there is no such remove range async method is available. But what is the use of this statement here? It is simply marking the entities for deletion, nothing else.
Yeah, right.
And here only the actual SQL statements are being generated and executed on the database.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Clear, guys? Okay, fine. Now what we need to understand is we want to understand the batching concept, right? How exactly the SQL server, right, to perform the batch operation, right? As I have already told you, maximum 42 records are going to be sent as a batch, right? So let's see whether, right, it is doing the same thing or not, right? Now what I'm doing here, I'm creating a list of students. You can see the list of students is there. And how many students I am adding? I'm adding to 200 students. So you can see first name, I have provided some dynamic first name, last name, and branch. So all the students are having the same branch, but I'm appending some I value to the first name and the last name so that right the name is going to be differentiated. And here I'm creating 200 list of students. And these 200 students I want to insert. Now, if you look at this bulk insert method, I'm passing these 200 students to this address method. And here I'm calling the subchanges method, and the count is I'm going to display here. So in this case, the 200 statements means it should send 42 statements as a single batch, and based on the number of students, it will calculate the total number of batches, right? So let us try to understand this thing practically. So let me run the application. So what is the sequence number starting from 0? What is the last sequence number? Guys, tell me.
41. 41.
41, total 40.
So 41 means it is sending one batch, one more statement, having 41 SQL
42.
statement. Now coming to the second one, how many SQL statements it is sending?
42. 41. 0 to 41.
0 to 41. That means how many statements it is sending right per batch?
42.
So basically what exactly it is doing? So total number of SQL statements, it will be divided by 42, means it is going to get the total number of batches, and in each batch it is going to send 42 statements to the database. And this is the same thing, right? Whenever you are going to perform the update and the delete operations. Clear?
Okay.
Clear or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you
Right.
you used any third part that DLL or something added anything?
I have not yet added any third-party DLL. This is the entity framework core methods.
Okay.
Why you are talking about third-party DLL? Am I explaining anything related to third-party DLL till now?
No, sir, but so this will by default come with the entity framework tools, right?
Yes. So that is the right default working nature. So this is how the entity framework core working, and we are getting this right number of how it is sending the batch statement, what exactly the SQL statement, because we are enabling the entity framework core logging.
So previously we added just 4 records, so we didn't see we didn't able to identify this 42 number, right?
Yes,
Otherwise it
because
was
if 4 records are there, then definitely there is no more than one batch. Only in a
right.
single batch it is
Single
going to
batch.
send. So whenever the number of records are more than 42, then in each batch it is going to send 42 records maximum. And that is the reason why now you can see in each batch it is sending 42 records. Clear?
Yeah.
Right? So this is very dangerous from performance point of view, guys. Remember why? Because why I'm going to send multiple batches in a single statement? I want to execute everything right now. Then the question that should comes to your mind is, sir, that is fine, but is there any approach where we can customize this number of a batch? Yes, that is also possible. Let us try to understand. So this is my right connection string. Let me put this connection string here. Separately, I'm storing the connection string. Okay, so this is my connection string. and I'm removing the connection string to separate, and I'm using the same SQL Server method, but here currently I'm using SQL option object and setting the maximum batch size as 100. That means what? Now 42 students will not be sent in a single batch. Now 100 students will be sent in a single batch. Clear?
Can you please SQL
Okay.
options dot click on that, like what are all it will support?
This is the SQL Server options, means how the SQL Server will execute the queries. That option you need to set. So currently by default 42, right, what I can say 42 records are going to be executed. Now I want
Sir,
to increase that number.
I'm asking, I wanted to see SQL options dot what are all available methods are exist.
Just go to the definition and see whatever all other available methods are there.
So, what is the maximum size we can give there? Suppose I want to
There's no maximum size.
Okay.
Whatever you want to set, you can set. If that is supported by your backend server, that is fine. Suppose I'm sending in a batch 1,000 record. Is your database supports that size? That's fine. If not support, then you will get exception. And this size vary from what I can say, database to database. So you can set the maximum batch size, you can set the minimum batch size, you can set the command timeout. Means what? If you want to set that, if within few seconds the application execution not completed, means I'm not getting data from the database, then please set the command timeout, right? And other options you can also use as per your requirement. Clear?
So server size means I didn't get. Means suppose in our company we are storing lot of data with Excel sheet like 10,000, 25,000 records at a time. So how means suppose my max batch we usually get 25,000. So database server means more capable server we want as a database server.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Like, for that purpose, you need to do performance testing. Yes, if your application is handling 25,000 of records, right? So then you should not use this thing. So what I'm saying, this is how SQL Server executing the things behind the scene. But this is, see, if you are sending a high size, then your application performance is also means what? Lot of resources are going to be consumed. So if your application is performing some kind of 20,000, 30,000 records at a time, right? Then you should not use this default functionality what is provided by Entity Framework Core. Because I don't want this batching concept, right? This is very bad from the performance point of view. Why I'm going to use insert statement and all these things, right? I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to provide a better option, better performance improvement, and for that purpose, right, we are going to use some kind of third-party libraries. Clear? Because suppose I set the batch size as 100 or 10 or 1,000, and if that is not supported by the database, then what will happen? Because here it is sending independent SQL statement. So independent SQL statement means what? That is very, very bad from the performance point of view. So we need to find a better solution, right? So instead of sending 1,000 independent SQL statement, we need to use some kind of a mod statement. We need to use some kind of a temporary tables, right? And then we need to send the data using some kind of a data tables, right? So they are going to improve the application performance. You know how to use data table and a temporary table
Yes, sir.
to perform the a huge amount of data, right, insert operation in the database, because select star from insert into select star from. So that this kind of SQL statement you are aware about or no? Insert into your database, select start from this. So basically what I'm selecting the data from one database and inserting the data into another database. So in case what I need to do, so whatever 10,000, 20,000 data I'm having, I'm going to create a data table, and that data table I'm going to send to the database, and in database that data table data, or you can say temporary table, we are going to store, and then I'm going to perform a joining operation with the temporary table with my original table, whichever entities are available, right? I mean, the primary key exists, perform the update operation, else perform the insert operation. Right? If update operation is not required, that things also you can manage, right? So that is also possible. So if you are going to perform 1,000 or more records, right, then you should not use this entity framework core default operation. Even I'm also going to do the performance benchmark, right? I'm going to show you if I'm going to insert 2,000 records, using different approaches, right? Or if I'm going to update delete, right, 2000 records, then which approach is going to take how much time, and accordingly how you can decide which one I should use for my application, right? That is what I'm going to discuss. So for now, this is the default, right, behavior, and somehow you can increase this right batch size. Clear? Right. So with this batch size right now, if I run the application, then again, right, you will see it is going to send all this data with two batches. So you can see it is starting from 0 and it will be go till 99, and another batch is going to be from 0 to 99. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is how internally Entity Framework Core perform the bulk insert, update, and delete operations. Clear? Or anyone having any question? Guys, is that clear? Okay. So what is the problem with Entity Framework Core bulk operation? The problem is individual statement. So it generates individual update delete statements for entity. Yes, for insert operation, it is using some kind of a merge statement. That is absolutely fine. But again, that merge statement is going to contain a limited number of insert statements. So it is not going to insert all the entities using a single batch. So in that case, also that batch size is limited to 42 entities, right? 42 entities per inch. So see, guys, remember why they're putting 42? Because they want to make a balance between the right number of entities. If they're removing, right, if they're adding 1000 records, right, batch size to 1000, that means your application utilization is going to be heavy. So to make a balance, so they are limited to 42. You can right, sometimes you can improve to 50, 100, that is fine. But see, guys, remember, this is fine if you are inserting data up to 1000, 5000 or 500, that is fine. But whenever you are going to insert huge amount of data like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, right? Then in such scenarios, you should consider using some external libraries. And two of the external libraries are very popular for Entity Framework. So one is Entity Framework EF-core.bulk extension. Another one is Z.entity framework core, Z.entity framework core dot extensions, right? And guys, remember, this is completely open source and free, and this is not neither open source nor free. That right, for this you need to pay. So let us try to understand these two versions, right? One is free version, and another one is paid version. And see, even though this is paid version, for testing purpose you can also use, right? But this is completely free. You do not need to pay anything. And this is as a .NET developer, I personally recommended you to use this EF core bulk extension, because right, as it is open source, right, many teams, many members are working on this package and they are improving the performance day by day. And this is completely managed by a different company, right? And they are providing this package, and for that you need to pay for it, right? If you want to use it in the production environment. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss these two packages and how to perform the bulk operation. Is that clear? Clear or not? Clear or not, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now let us try to understand, right? So this is the Z.entity framework code.extension, right? So this is one package, and this package, right, we need to install or we need to add from NuGet package manager solution. And this package, right, provide many methods, right? So for example, they have provided bulk insert and bulk insert async. By looking at this name, you can understand this is for non-asynchronous version. This is the asynchronous version. Bulk update async, bulk delete async. And here, important thing is bulk merge async. So this bulk merge or bulk merge async, so it actually combines the both the insert and the update operation in a single go, right? If you are having some entities which are there in, right, what I can say, inserted state, and for example, you got some data from Excel sheet. where some of the data needs to be inserted at the same time some of the data needs to be updated, and those data you can pass as a single go from your application to the database. And in that case, right, it is going to use SQL mods to insert the data whichever not available, and which are available it is going to update the same, right? And also it is providing bulk step changes async and bulk step changes method. So basically, right, if you are if you are not using any of these things, right, and if you are writing some insert statement, some update statement, some delete statement, right, within the using the context object, you are performing different kind of right, what I can say, SQL operation means many entities are there in added state, some entities are there in modified state, some entities are there in deleted state. Then in that case you can make use of this bulk step changes or bulk step changes async method. In that case, what it will do, it will send all the insert, update and delete statement with a single database round trip from our application to the database for improving the performance. So till now with entity framework core for inserted statement, it is going to generate independent SQL insert statement. For right deleted entities, yeah, or you can say for deleted entities, it is going to generate separate delete SQL statement. For modified entity, it is going to generate separate right update statement and execute them. But now, if I want to execute all these insert, update, and delete statement, but using a single database round trip, then what I can do is I can make use of this bulk step changes and bulk step changes async method. Clear? Clear or no? Yes or no? Guys, what happened?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So now let us try to install this package. Guys, remember, we are using .NET 8. We are using Entity Framework Core 8. So if I am going to execute this install package, so it is going to install the latest version, which is 9, because currently .NET 9 is released, and for this package, right, I cannot execute that right install package command. So rather than what I need to do is I can go with the package manager solution, search for the package, and then install the package as per your version which is compatible. So you can see this is the package z.entity framework.extension.core, right? Select the project and select the package, right? So in this case, right, what is the package? The package is going to be the older one. That list is not showing one. Yeah. So this is the package what I need to install, right? Which is compatible with my application 8 version, because a framework is 8, so the package needs to be 8, right? So just install the package installed successfully. Yes, that's fine. Now what I need to do, right? If you want to see, so this package, right, what I have used, it supports many database, right? It supports SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, SQLite. So these are the database. And if you want to see more about this one, right, you can go to this GitHub link, right? So this is the NuGet package they have provided. And here you can see this is the package manager, right? Using .NET CLI, you can install this is using, right, what I can say, PMC package manager, right? So this is the library, right? What exactly they are claiming? They are claiming that if you are using step changes method, right, which is provided by Entity Framework, and if you are doing a performance testing between 1000 entity, 2000 entity, and 5000 entities, then the entity framework core, right, step changes method will take 300 milliseconds, while the bulk step changes method will take 125 milliseconds, and the bulk insert method it is going to take 35 milliseconds. They are claiming. I'm not claiming. They are claiming, because when I do the same testing, I got different results set, right? That what they are claiming, that is not I'm getting something different, right? I'm also going to show you. So, but as for their documentation, this is more faster than, right, 5 to 25 faster than you can say the other Septimius method, right? So let us try to understand this thing practically. So for this purpose, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same context, same DB set property, and I'm also going to use the database. Guys, remember now one problem will be there. What is that problem? Now, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, right? I'm going to use bulk extension third-party library. So as it is a third-party library, you cannot view the SQL statement what is generated by them. And this is from the security point of view. Because if you know what SQL statements are generated, then you can create a storage procedure and something like, right, using those statements. So this is the reason why these third-party packages, what they are provided, right? Even I'm using this log label data information, you cannot see the generated SQL statement. Because if something is generated by entity framework core, that's what we can view. If something is generated by entity framework core extension, or you can say third-party packages, so those things we cannot view. So for that purpose, right, I'm simply disabling this thing. As I cannot show you that thing, right? What I'm going to do you at the end, right? I'm going to show you performance benchmark between three different approaches, and then you can decide which one is going to give better performance, right, for a given scenario, right? So let us proceed and understand this thing. So next, what I need to do, I need to generate the migration. So let me first delete this database. Again, create the database. So I have deleted this. I've deleted this migration folder, and any issue is there. Okay, so let me delete this one also, which I'm going to start from the beginning. Delete this one also and generate the migration file. Okay. Now let us try to perform the bulk insert operation. So to perform the bulk insert operation, this framework provided us with two methods. One is bulk insert. If you are going to perform the operation in a synchronous manner, and bulk insert async means if you are going to perform the operation in a asynchronous method. And in this case, guys, remember we do not need to call the step changes method. Step changes method call is not required. Why? Because now we are not asking entity framework core to perform the bulk operation. We are asking that extension what we have installed here, that extension is going to handle the bulk operation. So this bulk operation method are internally going to make call the step changes, and whatever logic is required, that is going to be handled by this method internally. So we do not need to call this step changes method, right? Everything is going to be handled internally. Let me run this application. So go to the program class, replace this code, and here you can see. So the same set of records I want to insert, and for inserting the record, right, currently what I'm using context dot. So this is an extension method bulk insert. And if you go to the definition, then you will see this is a method which belongs to this DB context extension class. And here you can see this is belongs to this package what we have installed. So now what I'm doing, I'm using this bulk insert method, and this is going to be, if you look at the definition, right? So you can see what is this? This is an extension method or not?
Yes, sir.
And this extension method belongs to which class?
DB context.
That is the reason why using the context object, I'm calling this method. Now this extension method know how to communicate with the database, what should be the database and all these things, right? So now this statement, what I have written here, they are going to be executed in the best possible manner using a single database, using the optimized way. These statements are going to be inserted into the database, right? So once these statements are inserted, I want to display the students, right? And for that purpose, I'm writing this statement. Student, I'm using as no tracking to performance improvement. And this is the conditional statement, and this is my to list method. Now, what is important? Important is this one. And what is important? No need to call the step changes method. Now run the application and see whether this data is being inserted or not. Yes, students are inserted into the database. Clear how to perform bulk insert operation? Yes or no? So for that purpose, what I need to do, I need to use the bulk insert method. Now what I'm going to do is next I'm going to perform the bulk update operations, right? So whatever the students are there in the CSE department, so those students I want to update. So this 1, 2, and 3 students I want to update, right? So that is the reason why I'm passing this branch to update to this bulk students method. And after update, I'm going to display the branch student details information. Now in this case, I want to perform the update operation. Do I need to use no tracking? No, I don't require. Why? Because I'm going to update, right? Next, what I'm doing here. So whatever the data I want to update, that updated information I have provided here. And then the students to update, I'm passing to this bulk update method. Internally, it will handle everything, right? How to generate the update statement. What is the best possible way to generate the update statement and send them using a single SQL query or using a single database round trip. It is going to perform the update operation. And after update operation, right, the same branch information I want to display here. So what is important here? Bulk update. Guys, give me 1 minute. Clear? So in this case, what is important? Important is bulk insert. So the point that what you need to remember, for bulk insert, you have to use a bulk insert method. For bulk update, you have to use a bulk update. And you do not need to call the step changes method, right? So run the application and see whether it is performing the bulk update operation or not. Yes, it is updated. And that updated information you can see here. Clear? Clear or not? Yes or no? Guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? Similarly, to perform the delete operation, what method I need to use? I need to use bulk delete async method, or you can say bulk delete method. Anyone you can use. Similar, the same story that what we have discussed. The logic is going to be same, right?
Pranay,
So,
how we can
sorry,
perform this how we can perform the entity framework core in real-time application?
sorry.
Like this entity framework core, how it will be used in the production?
So, how it will be used in production? The way we are using this is the same manner, na?
Like generally in UA, the user has enters the details.
So
Everyone
don't,
enter
don't
the
think about
single data.
see how to perform this is in UI and all these things. We'll discuss
Uh,
them in detail, right? Why you are in a hurry? We are having MVC part, we are having Web API part, where we are going to create many right real-time applications using entity framework. At that time, I'm going to discuss all these things. Currently, we are just right discussing the basic concept of entity framework or how the things are right working behind the scene. That is what I'm showing. So how to
okay.
integrate right any maybe with UI with entity framework, all these things are there in the pipeline. We are going to discuss them. So what exactly you want to know?
I think this is the legacy version. Generally nowadays, no application are not using.
Which one is no application is using entity framework core?
Yeah,
What they are using nowadays?
I'm asking like nowadays is entity framework are using or not in that
That
in
is
their
the thing.
applications.
So who told you that this is the legacy? No one is using this entity framework core.
Like I'm also working uh, in in some production team. Like entity they are not using, so that's why I'm asking.
So if they are not using, then what they are using? That is what I'm asking.
Entity framework only.
Sorry.
Entity framework.
So that is
You're
what I'm
only
asking.
saying that you are
I'm
not
You are
asking like
saying
But they
that
are
core,
they are.
behind.
core.
They are
I'm asking
behind.
core.
Yes, sir, you are
Your
asking
team
they
is
are not
behind.
using. Again, you are saying that they are
So
using,
you are
right?
working on outdated system. You are
Yeah,
working
Old,
on
yeah,
legacy.
old
I
one.
think so.
Yeah.
entity framework only.
So what I
That's
can
old one.
understand is, see, what I can understand is whatever project you are working, it is not based on ASP.NET Core MVC or ASP.NET Core Web API. That might be the ASP.NET framework project. That is the reason why you are using entity framework. So the thing that what you need to remember, entity framework is equivalent to entity framework core. There is no differences. Yes, this entity framework core is built right. What I'm saying from the beginning. So this entity framework core you can use anywhere. It no matter right but the thing is that entity framework is the older one. Entity Framework Core is the latest one, now one, right? And any application you are going to develop, you have to use Entity Framework Core, right? Why? Because from the beginning only, I have told you, right? If I'm using Entity Framework,
A
how the
single
insert of
statement when passing with that is an entity framework. We have passing the batching of the statement we are passing, that is entity framework. I understood that.
oh no. So why you are thinking, right? Do you think that Entity Framework and Entity Framework Core are a difference?
Might be.
No, both are only the ORM tools. So both are not different, right? So that what you have to remember. Both are same. Only the name is a difference. So this is for the ASP.NET, or you can say this is for .NET framework applications, right?
Okay.
And this is for .NET Core applications.
Okay.
Clear? Both are going to do the same thing. Now, is that clear?
Like in entity framework also we can pass the
Name, see, if
bulk
you
of
are
data.
talking the entity framework core, this is just a name, nothing else. Whatever entity framework is doing in .NET framework application, the same thing is done by entity framework core in .NET core application. There is no differences, right?
Like what you
Uh,
said is a bulk insert, bulk data. The methods is also available in the entity framework.
so what I have told from the beginning. So what is this entity framework? There also you can perform insert, update, and a delete statement. But in that case, for each SQL statement, a independent right round trip will be happening. And this is entity framework core. Here it is implement something called batching. 42 statement will be sent at a time, right?
Okay.
So EF means what? EF means entity framework, right? EF core means what? EF core means entity framework core,
Cool.
right?
No, he's asking like whether those batching is available in entity framework.
So that what I have already told you from the beginning. Is there any batching concept I have explained in entity framework?
No.
No
No,
means
in
what?
entity framework,
Independent.
no.
If I'm going to insert 1,000 records means 1,000 insert statement will be executed, and that is also going to be 1,000 number of
Sir, in entity framework, is there any third-party tools to
this
do
third party
this
tool you
kind of
can
things?
use. So currently what third party I'm explaining, right? Z dot entity framework code, that
Those are
what you
all
can,
can use in entity framework as well.
sorry?
Those third-party tools are also we can use in entity framework as well, right? Instead of
Yes.
I mean core,
Yes. So
instead of entity framework core.
currently what third party package I'm showing Z dot entity framework dot extension. So you have to use Z dot entity framework dot extension, and this Z dot entity framework dot
Okay,
extension
understood,
plus
understood.
EF code, it's specific to entity framework code. If you are not using EF code, then that is also available. Okay, let us see this one also. So this is available. So this is the package what you need to use in entity framework. Clear? This core is for entity framework core project, and this is for the older entity framework projects. Clear or not?
Yes.
Okay.
They are using right now the trial version no, of that Z dot entity
Yes, yes.
framework.
This is the trial version. For the paid version, you have to pay for it.
Okay, and we have to trial for 1 month or how this is?
That is right. Exactly. I have not checked. Right. You
Okay,
have to
okay,
go to the
yes,
right website, and they have provided, and you can check. Right.
okay,
So basically, this trial version means it is for the right, not for the production. So that's what it means. Clear? How to
okay.
perform the bulk delete the same way, right? But here, what I need to do, I need to use the bulk delete method. Is that clear? Yes
Yes.
or no? So this is how you can perform the bulk insert, update, and delete operations, right? Now, now the same, right? Now, can I perform the asynchronous operations? Yes, that is also possible, right? So for that purpose, what I need to do, guys, I need to use the asynchronous version of the all the method, right? For example, bulk insert of right async, bulk update async, bulk delete async, right? That what you need to use, right? For example, if I want to insert a list of students, then what method I need to use? In a asynchronous manner, I have to use the await keyword, and I need to use the asynchronous version of the insert bulk insert method. Similarly, right here I can use the toList async method to retrieve all the students. Here you can see, right, what I'm going to do. I'm going to update all the students, right? Update all the student means in a asynchronous version, you have to use bulk update async method. Similarly, to delete all the students, what method I need to use? I need to use bulk delete async method. Is that clear?
Yes.
Clear, guys? Right. Now, there is a method called bulk merge. What is the use of a bulk merge, guys? Remember, bulk merge means it is a offset operation. Offset means what? Can anybody? So offset means either update or insert. So this method is going to perform both the insert and the update operation. If entity read whatever I'm sending, if it is available in the database, then it is going to update the properties based on the primary key. If it is not available, then it is going to insert that entity into the database. So that is the meaning of a bulk merge. So let us understand how we can use this bulk merge in our application, right? So for this purpose, what I'm going to do, clear. See bulk merge functionality. So here what I'm doing, first let me check how many students are there. So this is one student ID 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can see I'm creating a list of students. So here the student ID is what? Guys, tell me what is the student ID in this case? 1. And what is the student ID in the second entity? Can anybody tell?
No.
What is the student ID of the second entity?
Uh,
Here is not, sir. So it may be 2 or it may be last one.
So I'm not saying maybe. So whenever you are developing any project, right, as a developer, will
When
you
you're
say
creating
it's
an
maybe
object,
it might
two,
work.
sir.
Maybe
two.
This
two,
will be a
two,
new.
Yes,
two,
Two, sir.
assumption, guys, remember, assumption will
two,
not work in a right in software development. You have to be very sure. What should be the entity ID in this case?
two.
So last
Two.
entity after insertion, it will be, we will
So
get new
I'm not
ID.
talking about what will be inserted into the database and all these things. So whenever I'm creating this object, what will be the student ID will
Two,
be there.
sir. Two, sir.
So in this case, guys, just use your brain. What is the default value of the data type? That will be the default value, na? So in this case, if I'm not passing any value for the student ID, say in this case, I'm passing the value 1 means this is the student ID value. In this case, if I'm not initializing the student ID property, then, then whenever the entity is going to be created, when the constructor is called, when the object is created, then at that time, that property is going to be assigned with its default value or no? You
Yes.
know, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So in this case, what is the type of a student ID?
Integer.
Integer.
The integer
Integer.
means what is the default value?
0.
0.
Identity.
What identity? Where identity come into picture here?
Zero.
I'm not
Default value
creating
will
one
be
Zero,
0.
zero digit.
so simply I'm creating one student obj equals to new student. So in this case, once I create the object, right, one memory allocation will be happen, and inside that memory, all the properties, right, are going to be stored, right? This student ID will be there, first name, last name, branch, all these things will be there. So what value they are going to store? Whatever the default value. So for
Mm-hmm.
integer, what is the default value?
0.
0.
0.
Sorry,
0.
0.
0.
zero only. So in this case, student ID going to be 0, right? And when this and this two statement I'm passing to the bulk merge async method. So in this case, what this bulk merge async method is going to do, it is going to check the student ID value is available in the database or not. For the first entity, student ID is available. So what exactly it is going to do? It is going to update these properties, right? So whatever the first name, last name, and a right branch that is going to be updated, and for the second entity, the student ID is 0. Is 0 available in the database?
No.
So if not available, then what exactly it is going to do? It is going to
Insert.
insert this data into the database, and whatever the auto-generated identity column value, that will be reinitialized with the student ID. Clear
Oh,
or not?
yeah.
So in this case, for this entity, it is going to perform the update operation. For this entity, it is going to perform the insert operation, right? So once the bulk operation is completed, we are displaying the data. For displaying data, we are calling this method, right? It is going to fetch all the data from the database, and that right, inserted and updated data you can also verify. Right? So you can see name John Dio updated and a branch, right? So you can see this is Pranay Raut updated. So John Dio updated, this value we have updated, and one new entity is created with the student ID 5. So you can see currently 4 entities are there. 5 will be the new student ID that is inserted. Ramesh Sethi, and the branch is CSC. Clear? So here you can see student ID data is updated and a new record is also inserted, and that is going to be handled by this bulk merge method. Clear or not?
Yep.
Any question, guys? What do you mean by bulk merge? Bulk merge means it is going to perform both insert as well as update operations, right? So we have also have that set changes method, or you can say set changes async method. So what exactly this method is going to do? It is going to combine multiple SQL statement as a single unit and then execute those statements using a single database round trip, right? So let us understand this. So this is my bulk shape async method. First of all, what I'm doing, I'm fetching all the existing student which branch is a CSE. So, and then here I'm performing some update operation. That means all the students entities are now in which state? After this statement, all these entities, whatever are there in the existing students, right? There will be in which state?
Change.
Sorry?
Unchanged.
How
After
unchanged?
after update change modified.
To fetch this statement, you perform this red bulk operator for no, and here we are
Modified.
updating the first name and
Modified.
Modified.
of the student. So in this case, all the entities are going to be
Modified.
modified state. And here I have added another entity. What should be this entity state?
Added.
So, so here all added modified entities, and here another entity with which state it is going to be in added state, right?
Added.
Right. And then what I'm doing here, I'm fetching
Deleted.
one entity,
Deleting.
and right, and then I'm calling this remove method means this entity is going to be deleted.
Deleted.
So in this case, if I call the context dot set changes method, then again for this update operation, separate right update statement. For this insert operation, separate insert SQL statement. For this delete operation, separate delete SQL statement is going to be executed. Right now, as we are performing, as we are calling this bulk set changes async method in a single round trip, you can say a single batch will be there, and inside that batch all these statements are going to be sent to the database. So all the update SQL statement, all the insert of, statement, all the delete statement, every statement it will be put inside a single batch, and that batch will be sent to the database. Means in a single database round trip, all these operations are going to be performed. So definitely it is going to improve your application performance. Clear or not?
Yes, sir. But same thing we can do without this bulk also, no? Just by using save changes.
So if you call sub changes, then what will happen? You just tell me, na? If I'm using this context dot sub changes, the same thing is happening, but how? So in this case, one SQL statement will be generated and sent to the database for update operation. One database round trip. For insert statement, another database round trip. For delete statement, another database round trip. Again, if the number of update statement are more than 42, then again multiple batches will be there, right? But in this case, right, for each independent, right, for update another, right? So you have to remember, see, in this case, this is a update operation. One is a database round trip. For this particular example, for the add operation, another database round trip. So the number of database round trip for this particular scenario is number of times is 3. Why? One for update, another for one for insert, another one for delete. Now, with this step changes, bulk step changes method, everything it will send in a single database to the single round trip to the database. Clear or not?
Yeah.
So here,
Sir, sir,
operation is going to be same. Output end output is going to be same. But what is the difference? Difference is how they are sending or communicating with the database. Clear?
Yes.
sir,
Yes.
here I have a doubt. So, this save changes is done the same thing, and bulk save changes async is coming from the Z entity framework and extensions, right? So
Right.
uh, uh, this is the third party. Even Microsoft is also have I mean if that Microsoft wants to develop this kind of methods, I mean if they can provide also, they can do that. Is there any reason behind to I mean not develop these kind of things? Why we should use third party extensions?
Right. So if you are asking why we should a third party extension, so what I'm saying, Microsoft already provided na bulk this changes method. Na? But what is the limitation of this exchanges method? So whatever they are providing with third party, that is not available with these exchanges. That is the reason why we are using with right. We are using bulk exchanges as in. Yes, as I have already told you, day by day they are improving the right. What I can say performance. They are taking performance into consideration. So day by day might be in the next right 1 or 2 year, you might be seeing that they are providing some kind of a bulk exchanges method where multiple DML operations are going to be executed as a single unit. They might be provided in the upcoming version also, right? But what I'm saying currently that is not provided. If that is what you want, then you don't have other options than to use right third party. What I can say, bulk changes method. Currently, they are not providing. Why they are not providing currently, I can't answer. For that purpose, we need to send mail to Microsoft. Why you are not providing this kind of functionality in your right bulk operations?
No, sir. I just wanted to
No,
know.
no. That is what I'm saying. Na. So they are not providing. So what answer I will give you? They are not providing means not providing. Why not providing? They have not written anything right or anywhere on internet, right? So
So, sir,
that is the reason why they are not see. So for simplicity, what I can say is right. So this is the paid version of the right. What I can say, paid version of the third party extension. But yes, Microsoft supported some other version which is also open source, and what I can say, open source, and that is also going to be do the same thing, right? And that is very good, and that is what you can say. That is the extension of Entity Framework Core. So this is the extension of Entity Framework Core, but that is managed by a specific company. But next, what I'm going to discuss, that is very good, and that is what I generally prefer, right, to use the right. I generally prefer to use that package, EFA core extension. Right, so this EFA core extension, bulk extension, you can consider this is provided, not exactly provided by Microsoft, but yes, some people, right, open source. Open source means like the .NET core is open source. This is also open source, right? You can manage this thing, right? You can manage this thing very easily. Means any performance improvement, any issues, any right benefits, whatever the drawback, whatever the limitations, right? You can provide some kind of a suggestions, improvement, right? They are welcoming you, right? You can use this thing, right, for your application, right? But now let us try to understand how we can do this. Again, the same set of method are provided: bulk insert, bulk update, bulk delete. Instead of a bulk merge, they are provided here bulk insert or update method. And bulk shape changes, whatever the previous version of right package does, the same thing is done by this package also. Clear? Clear, guys? So only bulk merge is replaced with bulk insert or update method, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install, as you can see, bulk insert, update, and delete, same as that the previous version of right. What I can say, uh, z.entity framework extension. So what I'm going to do is before installing this package, right? What I want to do is I want to uninstall this package, right? So I don't want any kind of a conflict, right? So let me even you can use both the package, that what I'm also going to show you. So let me first install the package. So this is the recommended package, right? EF core bulk extension. Okay, so this package is installed. Okay, now let us try to understand how it can perform the operations. So what I'm going to do, the same operations, that is the reason why I'm not showing the individual. So I'm going to show you all the right operations using a single code, right? So instead of explaining again and again the same thing, which is time taking and boring, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll use this one. So it's not that package install, not install. Okay. So let me go ahead and install that package. Okay. So yes, this package is now installed. Now let me go to the program class and show you the code. See, so in this case, right, I'm performing some bulk insert after right operation. Okay, let me directly show you. So here you can see the same bulk insert async method you need to use, where it is going to insert the data. The right here I'm displaying the data. No need to explain. Here you can see I'm going to use the bulk update async method similar to the previous package. The same with the way you are working the same way, bulk delete async method. And here I'm using the asynchronous method. If you want, you can go with the synchronous version. It is also fine. Clear? So this is how you can write the synchronous code. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Right? So now let me run the application and show you whether this is working fine or not. Right? You can see student. So all the operations are student. After deleting the student CSC branch, right? You can see no student found in ETC branch after deleting the data. Right? So that means it is working fine. Clear? Do I need to explain this method again and again, or are you understanding these methods? The same whatever
Same
we
thing.
discussed in the previous package, the same method, right? So whatever the right they are performing, the same thing is also performed by this method, right? So what is important? So bulk insert or update method, or you can say offset functionality, that what we need to understand. So this is nothing but you can say, right, insert as well as update operation. Let me show you this thing practically. So
See
here
log
you
for
can,
this package.
sorry.
Can we see logging for this package?
No, no. So this is the third-party package. They are not providing right that login for logging functionality. If it is an entity framework, core, we can see whatever SQL statement is generated because they are enabling that login. But this is third-party, you cannot see, right? And if you want to, right, if you want to see, right, then what you can do is you can make use of a SQL profiler. You know how to use SQL profiler?
Not exactly.
Yes or no?
No, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Let me open this SQL profiler. Right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to execute this code, right? So bulk update insert, the same thing, one inserted, another updated, right? So let me go ahead and run this one. Bulk insert update operation completed. Now, if you come here, then you will see definitely somewhere you will see the statement. So this is the SQL statement which is generated by, right, that statement, right? So this is a SQL statement which is generated by uh, that third party package for executing this code in the database. So it is going to perform both the insert and the update operations. And now it is up to you, right? How good you are into SQL Server statements and all these things. You can understand this code, right? I'm not going to explain this code again, right here, because this is not SQL Server class, right? If you are good at merge statement, how it is using this when not matched, right? When matched, right? So you can understand. Otherwise, just go ahead and learn this concept, right? SQL Server. Clear, guys? How to view the generated SQL server? Directly, you cannot view it. You can view using SQL Server Profiler. And to use SQL Server Profiler, what you need to do? Go to SQL Server. There is a tool section. Select SQL Server Profiler. Right? I'm just saying the basic. Right? Many advanced scenarios are there. Now you can select how you are going to log in. Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. Connect, and then this trace will be open. Here you can select right how and what you want to display and click on the run button. Now once you run, right, whatever SQL statements are going to be executed on the database, those SQL statements are going to be logged here. Clear? Yeah. Okay. So that is fine. Now the bulk save changes method. Similarly, right, the way we are working with the multiple DML statements, if you want to execute a single unit, right, then for that purpose you can make use of bulk save changes async method, right? So the same method here you can say I'm updating, here I'm editing, here I'm deleting, and finally calling this bulk save changes async method. That's fine. So now run the application and it should work as expected. Yes. Now, that is fine. So now I hope you have understand, right, how to perform the bulk operation using entity framework or right methods using two third-party packages. One is open source, another one is for which you need to pay. Now, the important concept that what we need to understand now is the performance benchmark. So what I'm going to do is, right, I'm going to use both these three methods. I'm going to use the standard entity framework core method, entity framework core extension method, and this z.entity_extension.ef code. And using these three approaches, I'm going to show you if I'm going to take 2000 entities and if I'm going to perform the insert and update and delete operation, then which approach is it taking how much time? Right. So I'm going to show you using add range, update range, remove range method. I'm going to use bulk insert, update, and delete of this package as well as of this package. And I'm going to show you the performance differences. We have installed this package. Let me go ahead and install this package also. Z.entity framework code.extension, which we have deleted. So let me go ahead and install this package. So this is the package. And here, what I need to do, I need to install the older version. So why I'm not able to select the older version? Yes. See, if you are using .NET 9, Entity Framework 9, then directly you can install the latest version, no issue. So z.entity framework code.extension package is getting installed. So what I'm going to do is, in this case, right, I'm going to perform a bulk operation on the product entity. So inside this product entity, I'm going to have different kind of properties. You can see ID, name, price, quantity, description, created date, modified date, and is available. So these are the different types of what I can say properties I have created. Next, what I need to do, I need to go to the right entity framework code DB context class, add this database, products database. So in this case, the database is going to be products DB. So inside this database, it is going to create a table, and inside that table, I'm going to perform the bulk operations. So let me first remove these things, whichever code is already there. Let me delete these things. Clear? Clear or not? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform the bulk insert, update, and delete operations. Let me go ahead. So what I want to do is, first of all, I need to create, okay. So database, let me first create the database. So I don't want to create the database on the fly. Let me delete this migration folder. Okay. Okay. Now in this case, what I'm using, right? I'm using stopwatch. Did anyone use stopwatch?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So stopwatch means how much time the method takes to complete the execution. That what I want to write capture and I want to display. Right. So let me go ahead and show you. So this is one method I have created. So this method will take the number of right students to be created. That count. You can pass 1, 2, 5, 10,000, 2,000, 5,000, any value you can pass. And based on this value, right, it is going to generate that number of right products, and that products finally it is going to return. For example, if I'm passing 2000, then this for loop will execute for 2000 time, and each time it executes, it will create a new product, and that product is going to be added into this product collection. And finally, I'm returning that product. That means this generate products method is going to return me the number of products that what I want to create, and that value I need to pass as a parameter to this method. Clear?
Okay.
Right? So this is the method which is going to create now. Insert with the standard entity framework code method. So this is the standard entity framework code method. So here I'm passing the same list of 2000 products, the same set of products. What this method is generated, that product list I want to pass to all these three methods, right? So you can see I have created three methods. One is with standard entity framework core. Another one is entity framework core bulk extension. Another one is a Z entity extension, right? So these are the three. The logic is going to be same. So what I'm doing here, before inserting the data, first I need to make sure the database is empty. Because see why I'm saying, because if the database containing some data, and if I'm going to another record, again I'm going to add another record, again I'm going to add another record, right? Then in that case, the performance might be very based on the available data. If there is no data, might be it take less time. If there is a huge data on the database, might be it take more time to insert the new set of record. So that is the reason why what I'm going to do whenever I'm going to perform the database, right, bulk insert operation, let assume the database is empty in all the three scenarios, right? So first of all, I'm clearing all the data from the database, right? Then I'm starting the stopwatch.start method. And here I'm adding the method using the addRange method and calling the substances method. So it will add all the data what it received as a parameter. And then I'm stopping the watch. So once this is start and stop, so whatever times it take, that what I'm returning as a millisecond. So 11 times millisecond means how much time between the start and stop, how much time this method execution takes place. At the time I'm returning from this method. Clear? Clear or not?
Okay.
Now what I'm doing here, I'm also doing the same thing here. First of all, I'm clearing all the data because I want to insert this data on an empty database, right? So to get the clear performance. So I'm removing all the data. I'm starting the stopwatch, and here I'm using right that EF core bulk extension. In this case, right, you can see I have provided the fully qualified name. Right, this is the static method, and the complete package name I have provided because this bulk insert method is available in both the packages. Then from which package this bulk insert method is going to be executed, that what explicitly I need to specify. And this in this case, what I need to do is not only the list of products, so what I need to pass, but also the context object using which this method is going to be executed. That context object I'm going to pass here. Now, I'm not calling this method based on the context object. Rather than this context object, I'm passing as a parameter to this bulk insert method, right? And again, how much time this method took to complete the execution, that time I'm returning from here in milliseconds. And this is Z entity framework extension method. The same thing I'm doing here. And here, this is the DB extension class that in bulk insert method, passing the context object and product. And here I'm removing the data so that it will trace, right, trace database. And how much time it is taking, that what I'm also returning from here. Clear? So basically, all these three methods are going to do the same thing. First, removing all the data, then starting the stopwatch, then inserting the data, then stopping the stopwatch, and finally returning how much time it takes, right, in terms of a milliseconds. Clear?
Okay.
So these are the three methods, and this is what it is going to generate the data. Now, what I'm doing here. So first of all, I'm creating 2000 records. You can increase the record. Let give me 3000 records. So by taking 3000 records, let perform the operations. So this 3000 records, what I'm getting, I'm passing through all these three methods. I'm passing to insert with the standard entity framework code, insert with the entity framework, Z entity framework extension, insert with the insert entity framework core bulk extension method. To all these three methods, I'm passing the same set of data. And here I'm displaying how much time it took, right? Entity framework core, how much time it took Z entity framework extension, how much time it took bulk extension, right? Entity framework code, that bulk extension. That milliseconds I'm displaying here. Clear or not? Any question, guys? Any question, or is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let us run the application and see which one is taking how much time. So let's start the application. Which one is taking how much time?
544, 659 and 224.
Z1 is
27.
taking the most time.
Standard entity framework core, it is taking 554. This is EF core, it is taking 659. And this is taking 224. Clear?
So last one is good.
Right. So last one is good. Now what I'm doing here, I'm passing 5000. So you cannot say which one is good and best based on a single time. So you have to perform based on multiple time. You can say this is 842, this is 701, and this is 202. And clearly, this one giving me the best performance. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So and now accordingly, you can increase the number of records. For example, I want to generate a right bulk operation related to 100 records. See, with 100 records, which one is taking how much time? So with
Standard
100
one is
records,
good.
standard one is giving better performance, right? So that is what you need to remember. So this is you can use when the number of records is extremely high, 30,000, 50,000, 40,000 records if you want to insert, right? But now this is the open source which is provided by Entity Framework Core, not Entity Framework Core, but you can consider Microsoft, and they are optimized this one. And now this is the recommended approach, right, for performing the bulk insert operations. Clear? And this is open source, so you can get it without paying anything. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now next what I need to do is I need to perform the bulk update operations, right? The same logic I have to implement for the bulk update operations. Right? So you can see this is with Z entity framework extension. So first of all, I'm going to remove all the data from the database. And here I'm generating some 2000 records. Okay, let me give this as a 3000. So I'm generating some 3000 data and inserting this 3000 data. First of all, you can see I'm removing all the records and I'm generating some 3000 records. And I'm inserting this 3000 data using entity framework, standard entity framework core method. So this standard entity framework core method I have defined here, which is going to insert all the data into the database, right? So this method I'm going to call from the three different locations, right? So then what I'm doing here, I'm going to modify all these entities. So modify products, right? I have created another method here. What exactly it is going to do? It is going to look through all the records, modifying all the properties, and right, that modified data it is returning, right? And and once all the records are modified, then what I'm doing here, I'm starting the stopwatch, stopping the stopwatch. But before that, I'm calling this context object, right, passing the context object and providing the list of products to be updated. And the same thing, right, I'm doing in all the three methods. So this is my entity framework core bulk extension method. Here also I'm removing all the data, generating some 3000 records. So we are doing the testing with the 3000, right? And inserting these 3000 records, modifying all this data, and I'm using this DB context bulk update method and stopping the stopwatch and finally returning this one. Now this is my standard entity framework core method. I'm also doing the same thing, right? So removing the data, right? Removing the data, generating the product, inserting the product, modifying the product, stopping the stopwatch, updating the data, and calling this save changes method, and then finally stopping and returning this thing, right? So that is fine. This method is used to modify. Again, here I need to pass 3000 because the number of data must be same. And here it is going to modify. Here it is going to insert the data, and here it is going to generate the data. So now I'm calling these three independent method, whatever time they take, that what they are returning, and that what I'm displaying here. So with these changes for bulk operation, let us see which one is taking how much time. Clear? So which one taking more time and which one is taking less time? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And guys, remember, whenever you are working, right, that performance might be vary on your machine, right? So you cannot predict by executing only once, right? So you have to execute multiple times, right? Then only you will get the clarity. Next, the bulk delete operation, the same concept I'm using here, right? So list of products that what I want to delete, right? I'm you deleting here using bulk delete method. And here also I'm deleting the same bulk delete method. And here I'm removing the product and then doing the same thing, right? Right. Here you need to remember that bulk delete is there. How much time there, and here the number of the product what I need to delete, that what I'm passing as a parameter to this method, to all these three methods. And how much time they took to remove those record, that what they are returning from the respective method, right? And this is the method which is going to insert the product. This is the method which is going to generate the product, right? And here what I'm doing, I'm creating some 2000 and initial 2000 records, and then right I'm inserting all these records, and independent records what I'm going to delete, that what I'm passing to this respective action methods, respective methods, and how much time they are taking, that what they are returning. Let me run the application and see which one is taking more time. See, you can see in this case also this bulk extension is taking less time. So the thing that what you need to remember, so on this thing, right? Standard entity framework core is slower. Bulk extension is the fastest one, and bulk Z dot entity framework extension dot EF core it is fast. It is slower, fast, and this is the
But
fastest. So
sometimes, how come like that the standard entity framework core has a less time taking and Z entity framework is taking little more?
that basically depends the number of records to be updated. So what they
Because
have
here,
taken, this is specifically for higher amount of data.
okay.
And again, right, and again that what the right paid version. If you use the paid version, that paid version is also going to give better performance. So currently, what version we are using? We are using the non-paid version. Non-paid version means they have right write the code in such a way that you not get that much of a performance, right? But if you go for the paid version, this will give you more better performance, right? So generally, what they are doing, they are just right delaying the execution for few milliseconds, right? So that you should buy and you should go for the paid version. That is the reason. If everything they will give at no cost, then why you should buy their software or buy their package,
Yes, yes.
right? Right. So that is the reason. And this is, but for now, for .NET Core people, no need to use this paid version. Why? Because this is fine, absolutely fine. Clear?
Thanks.
Yeah. So this is how you need to perform. You need to do the performance testing using entity framework core. So that's it. Tomorrow we are going to discuss disconnected entities, and right we will discuss one real-time batch processing application. Right, how to create a job scheduler, how to right. I mean completely real-time scenario. That what I'm going to discuss. What are the disconnected entities? Right, we will also discuss, and finally we'll discuss right storage procedure, how exactly a storage procedure, how it is executing, right? Why we should use storage procedure, right? What is the benefit of storage procedure? How to consume storage procedure using entity framework code? That is what we will discuss tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, we are going to discuss this inheritance, entity framework code inheritance. These are the advanced concept you can consider, right? Inheritance, transactions, sheet data, global query filters, right? Entity framework code, database fast approach. So at least one session I will do for these three things. Another session I will do for these four things, and this is going to take one more session. So maximum three sessions. We will complete this entity framework code concepts. and then we'll start ASP.NET Core Web API. So mostly you guys can target from the next Monday, we are going to start ASP.NET Core Web API. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And sir, what is the sequence after Web API? What we will be doing?
So after Web API, so what is the syllabus I have provided? We are going to cover few things now. One is entity
ADO, core MVC.
ADO core is not a specific chapter, right? So that is a very small thing, right? What are the big things, a big chapter, what I can tell you is, one is this entity framework core, another one is ASP.NET Core Web API, another one is ASP.NET Core MVC, another one is your ASP.NET Core Identity. So these are the four big chapters. Rest of all are very, very small. Which will be take, right? 2 sessions, 3 sessions, like this. But these four are going to take more sessions.
Okay, so in this sequence we will be moving forward. Okay.
Yes. So don't think too much about the sequence when I'm going to teach what, right? What is the best approach, right? That is what I'm going to follow. So you will not find anything difficult, right? So without explaining this entity framework, I can start developing the application directly. But what is the problem? The
Not
problem is
understand.
you will not understand the concept, right? Because my intention is not to, right, to make you write the fraud operation code, right? But what is happening behind the scene? What do you mean by batching? How many records it is sending per batch? Why it is bad for performance point of view? Or what are the third-party extensions are provided? So until and unless I'm not providing this information, I'm not going to start writing the code directly using any kind of web application or right web services. So first of all, we need to understand the basics. Once you basic, so these and don't think that these are the basic concept, right? So these are the advanced concept. Advanced concept means what? Right? I don't consider anything is basic, anything is right considered as advanced. Rather than right, whatever you are learning, learn in depth. That is what my fundamental rule. If you are going to learn something, I have to learn what is not my intention is not what is this. My intention is why is this, how it is working behind the scene. Rather than giving focus on what is entity framework core, I need to give more focus on why entity framework core and how entity framework core work in our application. That is what my right fundamental things. And you also need to learn the concept in that manner. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone having any more question, they can ask me. Okay. No question. Thank you guys.
Thank you.